balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Very good evening. I'm Lisa Broom. This is the CBC Evening News. And our top story tonight, Prime Minister Fundell Stewart is warning that human trafficking is the new form of slavery. And he says the scourge exists 200 years after national hero, the Right Excellent Bussa, fought against the injustice. The Prime Minister was speaking at a production entitled From Bussa to Barrow and Beyond at Golden Grove Plantation in St. Philip. The play was to commemorate the 1816 rebellion led by Bussa and celebrate Barbados's 50th anniversary of independence.
Although slavery as we knew it then was abolished, today a much more subtle but no less dangerous kind of slavery is very much a part of our global landscape. It rejoices in the name of human trafficking, which is what slavery was. And when we all thought that we had put that behind us, it has now reappeared in a new form.
Before the play got underway, Chairman of Barbados's Reparations Committee, Professor Pedro Welch, handed over the reparations baton to Guyana's Deputy Consul General in Barbados, Monique Jackman. The opposition is being reminded there is a process that guides matters such as the no confidence motion brought against the government. Minister of Industry, International Business, Commerce and Small Business Development Donville Innes, while stating that he has not seen the motion, says the present administration has always treated them as a matter of urgency.
Any member who wishes to bring a motion before the House must so channel that motion to the Speaker. The Speaker reviews it, determines that it is fit and proper motion to lay before the House. But you can't lay a motion before the House of Assembly until the Assembly is being convened. And everybody knows that we're on a few weeks break, and the House resumes on Tuesday, April the 19th at 10 a.m. So the motion really and truly cannot be laid and could not be laid in Parliament until Tuesday.
Meanwhile, in the face of criticism, some from the opposition to the budget allotted to the 50th anniversary celebrations, Mr. Innes says he sees nothing wrong with the allocation of the $7 million.
This is an $8 billion economy. And if we can't spend $7 million or thereabouts with a national celebration over a 12-month period, then something's fundamentally wrong. It is not money that is being spent on fetting and such like. It is all that we're doing in terms of the cultural activities that are recognizing and celebrating young people in particular and the talent in Barbados. It certainly is about the publications that are being done to remind us from whence it came and where we are today.
For the first time in Barbados's history, the number of girls at the Government Industrial School outnumber that of the male wards. And following that revelation, the Attorney General and Minister of Home Affairs, Adriel Brathwaite, says efforts are apace to determine what has gone wrong. The AG was among the speakers at a Democratic Labour Party St. James South branch meeting.
And in many ways, we began seeing the signs a little while ago, because if you go to football matches, I'm using it as an example, in the old days you see the boys only with a spliff in the hand, etc., etc. Nowadays you see the boys and the girls, and the boys and the girls with their children. You're seeing more girls involved in fights in the bus stand and fights at school, etc.
Mr. Brathwaite also knocked the head of the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union for calling for the expulsion of a female secondary school student following an alleged altercation with a teacher. He suggests the young girl may have a problem.
Separated from the school, yes. But I cannot understand how the head of a trade union, who is supposed to be a teacher, and who, by virtue of being a teacher, you would think cares about the same students, not just about the teachers, that the only cry I heard, according to the media, is for expulsion. No cry in terms of, let us see what's wrong with this child. Right? If she is wicked, inverted commas, let us see how we can help her.
Finance Minister Chris Sinclair is dismissing suggestions government's economic and social policies are turning away investors. In fact, he argues government is moving in the right direction to stabilize the economy while putting people's welfare high on its agenda. Telling critics Barbados is not a cluster of statistics, Minister Sinclair says the Frandell-Stewart administration is working to meet its financial obligations and targets. He put forward the case during a DLP St. Michael Northwest branch meeting last evening, where some long-standing supporters received awards for their contribution to the party.
A stable economy requires a stable society. That, you know, nobody's going to invest in Barbados if you have people running around the country doing foolishness. So if people talk about get your debt right, get your deficit right, because investors like that. But one thing investors like is peace and quiet. They don't want commotion. And we have to make sure that we put ourselves in a position where our people in Barbados can live in peace and harmony and can strive and achieve their objectives. And those who come from outside to be among us can have the same experience because we have it.
A member of the local judiciary believes attorneys in Barbados will not support government's move to abolish preliminary inquiries. Magistrate Douglas Frederick expects lawyers to be against the initiative because it will mean less opportunity for them to make money. He was addressing the Lions Club of Barbados North 42nd anniversary charter celebrations over the weekend.
I anticipate that in Barbados there will be a huge debate by the bar against the abolition of the preliminary inquiries, for the simple reason that attorneys, obviously, it's a trade, it's a career, and when an attorney appears in the magistrate's court, that is indeed one set of fees. And when he appears in the Supreme Court, that's another set of fees. And what you are actually doing, or what might actually happen, is that you might very well diminish the opportunities for attorneys to get fees.
The magistrate is of the view, however, that as people who have an interest in ensuring the justice system works efficiently, attorneys should embrace the change.
Attorneys who are, of course, members of the bar and also should be ministers of justice should see it as an opportunity to fast track, to get these matters before the court, because that is necessary in the interest of justice.
A truck owner whose vehicle was caught dumping illegally was made to clean up the mess and more today. This follows stepped-up surveillance of illegal dumping sites by the Ministry of Health. Kent Jerson has the details.
It was during one of the routine checks last night that officers from the Environmental Health Unit spotted a truck dumping illegally in Christie Village, St. Thomas. Environmental Health Officer Raul Rock explains what happened next.
The truck license was taken down. We would have contacted the Ministry of Transport and Works, and we would have ascertained the name of the person who would have owned the truck. Consequently, we would have contacted the owner, and he was given instructions to clear this particular area. And that is why we have at least three truck loads of refuse to be cleared from this particular spot.
So for several hours, these men have been cleaning the site at the expense of the truck owner, whose name was not revealed. As to whether or not further action will be taken against him, Mr. Rock says once offenders comply with the order to clean up where they dumped, then that's the end of it. The environmental health officer is, however, warning culprits to stop illegal dumping, and he says the ministry will be checking to ensure it comes to an end.
We are on the lookout for illegal dumping. Illegal dumping is a scourge here in Barbados. And we want to send a message to the general public to do the right procedure with respect to dumping and getting rid of waste on the whole.
And that's exactly what eventually happened here. The refuse was taken to the landfill for disposal. The environmental health officer says the increased monitoring of illegal dumping sites by the Ministry of Health is part of its program to eliminate the potential breeding sites for the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Kent Jerson, CBC News.
The Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation has welcomed a well-known media veteran as its new general manager. Ryan Broom has more.
Businessman and media stalwart Doug Hoyt is perhaps best known these days as co-anchor of CBC's popular early program, Morning Barbados. But he has officially taken up a major new role with the corporation as general manager. The CBC's chairman, Peter Earle, officially welcomed Mr. Hoyt into the new post following a meeting with senior managers.
He is a constant figure on CBC TV on mornings. But he's going to be, from effective today, we played a new role at a time when CBC is poised to be involved in a number of new initiatives, some of which we will be announcing in a short time, hopefully. We also are looking at a number of things that will make CBC more viable, and I want to thank the management team so far for the tremendous contributions in terms of assisting in this process.
Mr. Earle also thanked former acting general manager Rod London for his contribution. Meanwhile, Mr. Hoyt went on a tour of all of the departments at CBC, greeting staff and receiving hearty congratulations and best wishes. In taking up the new role, he says he feels a little like the prodigal son.
It's like coming home, but it's coming to a place that I feel very comfortable with, and getting to spend more personal time with people who are consummate professionals who have the interest of CBC and by extension the country at heart. People who are genuine about producing quality programming for a viewership, and I'm just proud to be a part of this continuing legacy. I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity.
So congratulations and the very best to you as you take up the helm, Mr. Hoyt. Ryan Broom, CBC News.
Well, we'll have more news in just a moment. Stay with us.
I had some problems with my solar water heater. The collectors was leaking. I called the original agency and said, well, they can't do anything about it because the system is bad and they will have to install a new system. I didn't hear back from them. Then I called some power for me. I went to Monday, paid some money, and by Thursday it was on.
Get a Be Content plan from as low as $35 a month. Call us at 436-6200 for a quote today. Hashtag pay in installments.
St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival celebrates an unforgettable journey with the best of the years, recapturing the most nostalgic moments, creating new magic. With Air Supply and Chris Standring, George Benson and Joey Alexander, Cool of the Gang and Omi, BWB and Shaggy are just a few, alongside headliner Mark Anthony. An island party not soon forgotten. The St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival 25th anniversary, April 29th to May 8th. Visit stluciajazz.org. Executive producer, the St. Lucia Tourist Board, platinum sponsor, RBC Royal Bank.
A lot of people think that fast bikes are cool, and the girls show like the guys who ride them. But like so many things about life, you gotta be careful. Having sex without a condom is like riding a bike without a helmet. It's just plain dumb. It's okay to have fun as long as you're smart about it. My name is Daniel the Lion Fortress, and I'm different, and I'm making a difference.
Live up, love, protect, respect.
The Barbadian society is losing its sense of togetherness. It comes from Minister of Labour, Dr. Esther Bayer-Suku, who was speaking to the congregation at the Church of God Awards. Minister Bayer-Suku congratulated the church for their spirit of togetherness, noting that she wants Barbadians to rebuild community relationships.
Communities, and let us build stronger communities that care for each other. That's something that we
we apologize for that mix-up. A union boss doesn't think the industrial relations climate in Barbados is more volatile now than any time in the past. But General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Tony Moore, thinks the number of issues being made public may make it appear that way. She says the union deals with hundreds of issues each day and going public is a last resort.
When we start speaking about issues in the public as trade unionists, and I speak specifically of the BWU, that is the moment that it should come as the first signal that the matters are not being addressed in the manner that we would want them to address, and where we are of the view that a dispute may be brewing at some point.
Ms. Moore says there are a number of other industrial relations issues that have to be ironed out, including the airport, customs, and air traffic controllers, all of which she hopes can be resolved before they get into the public's eye.
I think that these are signals, definitely, that all is not well, and we can only impress on the powers that be to make sure that they give attention to these, because certainly it is not auguring well for other workers who are seeing this and who also have situations brewing. And the last thing that we would want is a situation to inflate in a manner that can destabilize an economy that is already significantly challenged.
The community effort continues across Barbados to supply residents in water-scarce districts. A small team of concerned people using a truck donated bottles of water, providing temporary relief to many St. Joseph and St. John residents and other affected parishes. David Davis, an organizer of the water drive, which starts off at Warren's, says all it takes is a little effort to make a big difference.
Seeing how the people in St. John and St. Joseph been experiencing their problems for an extended period, we just felt that somebody in Barbados should respond in the way that we would have responded to Dominica. You know, they had their situation and everybody in Barbados pulled together, and in a short turnaround time we were able to, you know, affect change in a positive way for them. So having people next door in our backyards, our brothers, our sisters, we just felt like somebody in Barbados should step up and assist these people.
Andy Blood Armstrong, DJ Stokely Murray, and other local entertainers are among the volunteers. They encouraged others to help the cause by taking part in a bottle drop-off at Massey Supermarket in Warrens. Mr. Davis says the drive will continue until a change comes or the rain comes. He says during their weekly Sunday distribution, his team saw firsthand the struggle of many Barbadians to get water.
On looking at the children, you can see that their lips are dried. Obviously, they're dehydrated. Outside the house, we saw tons of empty buckets, 12 to be exact empty buckets, because they live in one of the secondary roads. And what's been happening is that the water tankers, they're passing on the main road, but not going through the secondary roads. So people on the secondary roads, I mean old people, children, they're in serious need of water.
Ellerslie Secondary School students have been encouraged to play their part in creating an inclusive society for people with disabilities. This was the message from President of the Senate, Carrie Ann Eiffel, as she addressed this morning's assembly. Ken Jerson has that story.
Speaking to students, Senator Eiffel impressed on them the importance of not alienating people with disabilities.
Don't point, don't make fun of, don't laugh at, just because they're different.
She also called to mind several well-known people with disabilities, including actors, scientists, and inventors who achieved much in spite of their condition. Senator Eiffel says there are several individuals making their mark among the more than 11,000 people living with disabilities in Barbados.
We have over 11,000 persons who live with a disability every day. And yet we have people who are social workers, people who are accountants, people who are dancers, performers, lawyers, doctors, people in every aspect of life.
The Senate President's visit was part of a sensitization project undertaken by social work students at the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus. One of them is Keela Saul.
The aim of the project is to educate. educate persons about disabilities and the things that they can do in order to, you know, make those persons feel comfortable, that they are not excluded from society and excluded from things that able-bodied persons do.
After delivering her address, Senator Eiffel took time out to speak to disabled student Linda Leach. While the youngster was too shy to speak on camera, she told CBC it was exciting to have the Senate President visit, and she felt honored to have chatted with her. Kent Jerson, CBC News.
Well, Barbadians living with a rare medical condition spent this weekend spreading awareness of the disease at Massey Mall in Warrens. Hemophiliacs, who are those diagnosed with the hereditary disease hemophilia, along with their family members and supporters, also officially launched the Barbados Hemophilia Association. Now, hemophilia is a disorder in which the blood doesn't clot normally, therefore allowing for unusually long periods of bleeding after an injury, sometimes lasting days or weeks. Medical advisor to the association, Dr. Cheryl Alexa, says although top-notch treatment is available, high costs forced patients towards second-rate alternatives.
For an average person, adult, you're looking at between $1,000 to $1,500 for one dose. And sometimes they might need, if they have a major bleed, they might need up to 3 to 6 doses. So it is, right now it's on the formulary, but as you would appreciate, it's a strain on the government to provide that. Although we have small numbers, you know, the cost is, you know, disproportionate to that.
Vice President Ray Grinnis says while hemophilia limits participation in certain rough activities, it is possible to lead a safe and happy life. He and the association's president, Erica Worrell, also believe it's too expensive to secure hemophilia medication and hope this weekend's drive helps.
Once people are aware of how serious the situation is, the complications and problems that can be caused, and how easily it can be managed with medication, I believe we can have more support in trying to cater to the hemophilia population, whether it be in internationally recognized name or whether the nation itself realizes that we do not get the required support.
Still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. Stay with us.